Today, we're exploring something truly exciting: how traveling shapes our mindset. Have you wondered how visiting new places and experiencing different cultures can affect the way we think, grow, and see the world? Well, in this video, we'll uncover all of that and more. And here's something fun. You can improve your English even further by practicing shadowing. Just repeat the sentences after me to sharpen your speaking skills. With subtitles to guide you, it's the perfect way to practice listening, reading, and speaking while learning how travel can expand your mind. Let's get started. Have you ever thought about how exciting it is to explore a new culture? Traveling isn't just about taking pictures or seeing famous places. It's about meeting new people, trying new foods, and learning how others live. Food is one of the best ways to learn about another culture. Imagine eating fresh sushi in Japan or a big plate of pasta in Italy. It's not just yummy, it tells you a story. You can learn about the history and the traditions of the people who make these dishes. And then there are festivals and traditions. Every culture has unique ways to celebrate and enjoy life. For example, have you heard of Diwali in India? People light candles, share sweets, and celebrate together. Or maybe you've seen pictures of Carnival in Brazil, with its music and colorful costumes. When you join these events, you don't feel like just a visitor. You feel like you're part of something special. Speaking the local language, even just a little, is another way to connect. Saying things like hello or thank you in another language can make both you and the local people smile. It shows that you respect their culture, and it's a great way to make new friends. I remember one time in France when I tried to say merci, thank you, and the shopkeeper laughed kindly and helped me say it the right way. Here's something amazing. Learning about other cultures changes how you see the world. When you sit down with people to eat or talk, you realize how much we all have in common. Sure, the food or traditions might be different, but the feelings of love, care, and friendship are the same everywhere. It also helps you see past stereotypes. Maybe you've heard things about a place from TV or movies, but when you actually go there, you see how different the truth can be. Meeting real people and hearing their stories makes the world feel smaller, and it helps us understand each other better. One time, I joined a traditional dance in Kenya. I didn't know the steps and felt a little nervous, but everyone around me was so kind. They laughed with me, nodded at me, and taught me how to join in. It was a moment I'll never forget. Every trip teaches us something special. Maybe you learn to enjoy life slowly, like people in Italy. Or maybe you see how communities in Africa share everything with each other. These lessons stay with you even when you go back home. So, when you travel, don't just visit places. Take time to listen to the people, taste their food, and join their celebrations. Traveling isn't just about crossing borders. It's about opening your mind and heart. The more you explore, the more you grow. Our world is amazing and full of beautiful cultures. Go and discover them. Who knows? It might change how you see the world forever. Communication is such an important part of traveling. It's how we connect with people, ask for help, and learn about the places we visit. And here's the good news. Even when you don't know the language very well, There are simple ways to make communication easier and more fun. One of the best things you can do before traveling is learn some useful phrases in the local language. Not everything, just a few key words and sentences. Things like, hello, thank you, how much is this? Or, where is the bathroom? These small efforts go a long way. When you speak even a little in someone's language, it shows respect and opens doors to better conversations. Traveling also teaches us to be better listeners. Imagine you're asking for directions. The person might not speak slowly or clearly. Now, you have to really focus on the words, the actions, and sometimes even gestures to understand them. Over time, this improves your listening skills, not only in their language, but in your own too. And don't worry if you don't say everything perfectly. Locals usually appreciate the effort more than the accuracy. They might even teach you the correct way to say something, which helps you learn faster. It's a fun way to improve your speaking skills without any pressure. I remember once I was trying to order coffee in a small cafe abroad. I didn't know the exact word for milk, so I said the word for cow and pointed at my cup. The barista burst out laughing, but completely understood what I meant. She taught me the right word and even wrote it down for me. That small moment taught me so much about communicating with confidence, even when I didn't have all the right words. Communication isn't just about the words, though. You also learn to use body language, facial expressions, and gestures to get your message across. It's amazing how much you can say without speaking at all. Traveling shows us that communication goes way beyond language. And here's the best part. When we communicate with others, we get to know them. We learn about their lives, their culture, and their stories. These conversations can be meaningful, even if they're simple. It's not about the perfect grammar. It's about connecting with people. The skills you gain while traveling also help in everyday life. Being confident with speaking, listening carefully, and staying patient in conversations are essential everywhere. Whether it's helping a friend, working on a project, or meeting someone new, these abilities will stay with you long after your trip is over. So, when you travel, don't be afraid to speak up. Learn a few words, ask questions, and listen carefully. Even small efforts can build bridges between languages and cultures. Remember, every conversation is a chance to grow, not just as a traveler, but as a communicator too. Travel isn't just about seeing new places. It's about building connections. And the more we practice communication, the more we realize how well we can connect with the world. Have you noticed how traveling isn't always smooth and easy? It's exciting, but it also comes with surprises. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Maybe you missed your train or got lost in a big city. But here's the thing. That's where the magic happens. That's where we learn to adapt. Traveling often puts us in situations where we need to think fast. Imagine this. You've just landed in a country where you don't know the language, and now you're trying to find your hotel. Do you panic? No. You take a deep breath and start looking for signs or asking for help. These moments teach you to stay calm and flexible. Being flexible also means being open to new experiences. Maybe the food is different from what you're used to, or maybe the way people do things isn't what you expected. Instead of being frustrated, you learn to go with the flow and say, okay, this is new, How can I make it work? This flexibility helps sharpen our problem-solving skills. For example, imagine getting lost in a new city. What would you do? You figure it out step by step. You might use a map, talk to locals, or follow landmarks to find your way. These small challenges teach you how to solve problems quickly and independently. And here's another great thing about learning to adapt while traveling: resilience. Resilience means bouncing back when things don't go as planned. Maybe your flight got canceled or your luggage got delayed. Sure, it's frustrating at first, but then you remind yourself, okay, I'll handle this. It's not the end of the world. Over time, these experiences make you stronger and more confident. One of the best parts of traveling is that you're not alone in this. You meet other people who have gone through similar situations. They share their stories, and you realize, hey, everyone faces challenges while traveling. It's part of the adventure. You learn to laugh about the small mistakes and carry on. These lessons don't just help you while you're traveling. They also become skills you use in everyday life. Think about how useful it is to stay calm when something unexpected comes up at school or work. The problem-solving, patience, and flexibility you learn while traveling will help you wherever you go. Traveling teaches us that not everything will be perfect, and that's okay. The important thing is how we respond to problems. Do we give up, or do we find a way to adapt, learn, and even grow from the experience? So, next time something goes wrong on your trip, don't stress too much. Take a deep breath, think through your options, and trust that you'll figure it out. Remember, every challenge is a chance to grow, and every mistake is part of your story. Travel isn't just about exploring new places. It's about discovering how strong and capable you are. When you learn to adapt, you don't just survive the surprises of travel. You thrive because of them. And that's where the real adventure begins. Have you ever done something that scared you, but after you tried it, you felt amazing? Traveling is full of these moments. It pushes us to step out of our comfort zones and into new experiences. Think about food. When we're at home, we often eat the same things every day. But when we travel, we get to try dishes we've never seen or tasted before. Maybe it's grilled octopus in Greece or a spicy curry in Thailand. At first you might think, I'm not sure if I'll like this. But when you take that first bite, you might discover your new favorite dish. Trying new activities is another way travel pushes us. Maybe it's hiking up a steep mountain or dancing at a local festival. At home, we might think, that's not for me. But when you're traveling, something changes. You think, why not? I'll give it a try. And guess what? You realize you're stronger, braver, and more capable than you imagined. Here's the thing, staying in our comfort zones feels safe and easy. We like knowing what's going to happen. But if we always stay there, we don't grow. Traveling breaks us out of those routines. It makes us face the unknown, and that's where the real growth happens. Yes, it can feel scary at first, but stepping out of your comfort zone is like building a muscle. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And the best part? Each time, you feel proud of yourself for trying something new. When we take these small, brave steps, we uncover hidden sides of ourselves. We realize we're not just tourists visiting a new place. We're learners, adventurers, and explorers. The world feels bigger, and so do we. The personal growth you experience when you travel isn't just about the things you do on the trip. It stays with you. When you go back home, you find it's easier to try new things there too. Maybe you join a new class, meet new people, or even take on a big project. Traveling teaches us that we don't have to be afraid of the unknown. Instead, we see it as an opportunity. Have you ever stopped to wonder what life is like for someone on the other side of the world? When we travel, we get the chance to see it not just through books or TV, but for ourselves. We step into their world, even if only for a little while. The way people live, the food they eat, their traditions, and even how they celebrate everyday moments can be so different from what we're used to. At first, it might seem surprising or unfamiliar. But then, those differences become fascinating. Every time we take the time to observe, listen, or even ask questions, we gain a deeper understanding of someone else's reality. I remember sitting at a dinner table with a family in a small village. They didn't speak much of my language, and I knew only a few words in theirs. But somehow, we communicated. They shared their stories, and I shared mine. It made me reflect on how, at our core, we're all just people trying to live happy lives, no matter where we come from. Seeing how others live can really open our eyes. It makes us realize how different priorities can be. For example, in some places people value community time more than personal space. Or maybe they find joy in the simplest things, like spending an evening with loved ones or playing games with no technology involved. It makes you think, what truly matters in my life? Travel gives us the chance to see the world through someone else's eyes. It teaches us that there's no single right way to live. What works for one person or one culture might be very different from what works for us. And that's okay. These differences make the world a richer, more interesting place. As we experience life from another perspective, something amazing happens. We become more empathetic. Instead of judging or focusing on what's different, we start to appreciate the beauty in diversity. We ask ourselves how their experiences shape their choices, and we value them, even if we don't fully understand. I've learned that the more we see, the more we realize how little we know. And that's a good thing. Travel humbles us. It reminds us to be curious, open-minded, and respectful of other ways of life. It's a growing process that makes us not just better travelers, but better friends, neighbors, and human beings. Have you ever come back home after a trip, sat down on your couch, and thought to yourself, this feels so good? That feeling of comfort, of being grounded is like no other. Traveling opens our eyes to the wonders of the world, but it also helps us appreciate the magic of home. When you're on the road, everything feels new and exciting. You're trying different foods, navigating unfamiliar streets, and maybe even struggling to communicate in a new language. It's thrilling, right? But after a while, you might start to miss the little things you never gave much thought to before. Things like your favorite blanket, your morning coffee routine, or even knowing exactly where the light switches are. I remember once returning from a long trip abroad. I had been staying in small hostels and constantly moving from city to city. When I finally got back home and opened my own fridge, just to find the snacks, I liked exactly where I left them. I couldn't help but smile. It's these humble, everyday moments that we often overlook. Traveling reminds us how special they really are. This doesn't mean that travel isn't worthwhile. Quite the opposite, actually. Stepping out of your comfort zone can be eye-opening. You experience new cultures, hear new ideas, and maybe even challenge your perspectives. But coming home allows you to reflect on all these experiences. It lets you take a deep breath and think, wow, I've seen so much. At the same time, you realize how valuable the simplicity of home life truly is. Finding this balance is so powerful. When you travel, it's as if you're planting seeds of curiosity and growth. But home is where these seeds take root. It's where you recenter, ground yourself, and recharge for whatever comes next. This back and forth between exploration and familiarity keeps life rich and fulfilling. It's also a great way to develop gratitude. By being away from home, you start noticing things you took for granted. Maybe it's the feeling of sleeping in your own bed, or having access to clean water around the clock. Or it might be something even bigger, like the safety and sense of belonging your home provides. Whatever it is, travel gives you the contrast. You need to see these comforts in a new light. The more you appreciate home after you've been away, the more you realize the world isn't just out there. Travel may push us to explore, but it also teaches us to treasure everything we already have. That balance keeps us both humble and grounded. For me, every trip feels like a two-part story. First, there's the adventure itself, full of discovery and excitement. Then, there's the part when I come back and find joy in my everyday routines again. And somehow, these routines feel sweeter, more meaningful, because I've seen the world beyond my doorstep. Traveling and coming home really are two sides of the same coin. Without travel, home might start to feel too predictable. And without home, you might not fully appreciate the value of what you've explored. It's this balance, this interplay, that helps us stay grounded and grateful. Every trip brings moments that we will always remember. These moments turn into memories, and memories become stories we can share with others. Think about it. Maybe there was a time when you tried a new food for the first time, or a time when you couldn't understand the local language, so you had to point and use your hands to explain. These moments might seem small, but they turn into the best stories to tell later. When you share your stories, you can make others smile, laugh, or feel curious. Telling stories is a way to connect with people. It's like showing them what you saw and felt during your trip. And guess what? Telling your travel stories is also a great way to practice your English. When you talk about your trip, you practice using words and making sentences. Each story helps you feel more confident speaking. Writing your stories can also help. You can write in a notebook, on social media, or even send a letter to a friend. Writing helps you think about what happened and how to explain it. You also learn to use words to describe what you felt or saw in a simple way. For example, instead of saying, "I saw a nice sunset," you could write, "The sky turned orange and pink, and the sun slowly disappeared behind the ocean." Little details like that make your story better. Every trip gives you new stories to tell, and when you share those stories, you practice English, connect with others, and keep your memories alive. So, go and explore new places, make special memories, and tell your stories. Every word you share makes your world and theirs a little closer. I hope you enjoyed exploring how traveling can shape our mindset and learned some useful English along the way. Don't forget, you can practice even more by reviewing the video or shadowing the sentences we talked about today. It's a great way to improve your speaking skills. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fun and educational content. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Safe travels and happy learning.